my chest hurts.
Yeah? Your chest hurts? As my girlfriend is getting a tissue, we just recently finished watching Ed Wood's. One of the only Tim Burton films that Anna, my girlfriend, has not seen. And she loves Tim Burton. She really likes Johnny Depp. So I figured, like, this would be like a two good duo for this movie that people have compared to recent films like The Disaster Artist when it comes to making comedy based on true story films about horrible directors that don't really know how to make a good film essentially to save their life. And she's not familiar with Ed Wood. I'm a little familiar with him as a director. I've seen one of his films, Glen or Glenda, which I think is a very interesting one, even though I don't think it's good, but it's not worst movie I've seen. And this is, and it's while also showing this type of like love for cinema in the most interesting schlocky B movie, 1950s black and white movie. So, and yeah, and I thought like this would be like I know she likes Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, so I figured like this would be like the one, but apparently she hated it.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Why?
It was boring. I fell asleep.
You did stay awake for like the second half of the movie though.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because like maybe it's moving faster because they're just like all it is just making this awful movie Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I feel like at times it was too chaotic and like bouncing all over the place.
Like The Disaster Artist.
I like The Disaster Artist.
I know you do, but it's also like has that similar chaoticness to it.
No, it reminded me too much of Marty Supreme, and I hated that movie.
But she does think it's better than Marty Supreme, so at least there's that. And she could tolerate the main character in Ed Wood more than Marty from Marty Supreme, because at least like Ed Wood was being like a dick about it. Marty was definitely being a dick.
Yeah.
It's just they both have this sense of like huge ambition for themselves that they're willing to just do anything to make this happen, even if it means doing some things that are clearly like against the law.
Yeah. I did like it though that it was in black and white. I thought that was pretty cool.
And it kind of fits tonally wise with the black and white, with how it's like acted. Yeah. They kind of does kind of feel a little schlocky, just kind of like it's not really meant to be that serious.
Yeah.
It's just meant to be like a little goofy, a little silly.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about Johnny Depp's performance in the movie?
I thought it was really good. I'm a big Johnny Depp fan, and it was around the time that he was like really attractive too. So that helped it a lot.
And his voice was definitely giving off like Willy Wonka, which is this.
It was that creepy smile.
This is my Willy Wonka.
Good morning, sunshine. The earth says hello.
Which is very interesting, and they both feel like very different. Maybe it's just because the characters that he's presenting, were like with Willy Wonka, it's definitely like a man child, and Ed Wood's like.
I mean, still a man child, but adultish man child.
He also having a little bit like effeminate feel to him, his character. Especially since he, in the movie, and in real life, he likes to wear women's clothing. Because turns out it actually was how he was born. Because his mom...
He was a drag queen more than anything. I applaud him for that, especially being open about it and willing to be on camera, especially in that time period.
And the fact that the movie like doesn't really make it much of a joke, it just more so dives into like the challenges of like, you know, wearing women's clothing from a man's perspective that is considered to be like not toxic, just not, it's very uncommon. Very uncommon back then, especially when they brought in the first person who has performed a transgender surgery, in a way kind of like inspired like a lot of people, including Ed Wood in some fashion, of being more comfortable wearing women's clothing and be inspired to make Glen or Glenda, which I thought was like very interesting. And the humor in this movie, not as hilarious as we maybe I thought this was funnier than you thought it was funny. Yeah. But there were points you did laugh.
There were some parts that were funny.
Especially that one point where it's just you can clearly see like the mistakes going on during the making of not Ed Wood the movie, but just the other movies that Ed Wood's making. But you could just like tell from his face he loves making movies. He loves making movies.
He sucks at it.
He sucks at it, but it's just more so because it just gives up the schlocky feel, the B movie schlocky feel. But I will say that like there were some points I'm like, okay, this is clearly like a mistake. He has literally made some mistakes, and he's like, cut. It's perfect. One takes, always one takes.
Yeah, like.
But I do think the best part of the movie, besides how it dives into, basically wearing women's clothing back then, is the friendship that Ed Wood has with Bela Lugosi.
That was true friendship. Not just I'm going to use you to make movies type of way, but like, I think it truly gave him a starting point.
Because it almost came across as some aspects, but then it just takes a little step forward. But like, no, this is actually not what it is. It's just basically just
especially when he went to the hospital, like.
That's when you realize, like.
Just like leave him there.
Yeah, he truly did care about Bela Lugosi, and I think that's something to be take notice of, especially since like Bela Lugosi in this movie, I'm not sure how he is in real life, just can't come across as like high-headed and just like clearly addicted to morphine, and just come across as like washed up essentially, but like I'm sure like who knows whether or not Bela Lugosi himself like it's like this is terrible or something like that, or maybe he just doesn't care because he just loves acting.
He's too high on drugs.
Yeah, especially when like one point he's like, I'm so tired, and he's like, yeah, okay, we'll give you like a few minutes, we could take a nap and we'll shoot around it.
Take a nap, shoots up some drugs, I'm ready for this scene.
Especially with that octopus part.
Oh my god, that was so stupid.
That was stupid, but it was funny as hell. And we also, after watching the movie, I like showed her the comparisons between the movie itself and the movies that Ed Wood has made. And besides obviously some like framework differences of how it's shot, relatively it's like relatively pretty faithful.
Yeah, no, it actually was. It was pretty impressive.
Probably it's shocked. You're like this is real. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I applaud him for that, for sure.
And I like the style, and we both really like the style of how it looks. And Tim Burton is definitely like has a knack for old Hollywood classics that you could definitely tell he just loves this. He like it like he was so felt like there's so much passion.
You could definitely see parts of Tim Burton in it too, especially when they were on that horror ride and all of the figures in it. I was like, oh, that reminds me of Beetlejuice, or oh, I know that's kind of like his artwork.
It's probably like one of the like least Tim Burton films he's made that you could definitely tell is still made by him.
Oh yeah.
And which I do appreciate him trying to do something different, especially since it's again based on essentially true story that you can you kind of tell that the movie's not trying to be that true, since there's that fantastical element to it that feels kind of like fantasy like, especially when there's a moment where it come across as triumphant, even to the point it even has triumphant music, and it feels like it's like a movie in itself.
Yeah.
And how the ending like come across as like a triumphant like motivational story that like, hey, like even though like he's not even though he like was an alcoholic, but he still is like he's known, like people like really like his movies but for the wrong reasons, and almost come across as like a bit of a success story, but even though like probably not. And like he was like, and he tries to like treat his cast and crew as much well as he can. Yeah, he does, but there are some points he does come across as bit backstabbing, especially towards Sarah Jessica Parker's character.
Yeah. Oh my god, the comment, does my face look like a horse? That was hilarious.
The fact that like there was like that comment thing of like her being compared to a horse, and then this movie like making acknowledgement of it is like very interesting.
Yeah. That was funny.
And this was like maybe like before people start calling her that too.
Maybe that's what gave it away.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe she does look like a horse.
And how'd you feel like Bill Murray? Because he was like very funny at times.
He does feminine very well in a masculine sense, so that, you know. Granted, everything he does, I think he does it well.
and then he was like one of the characters in the film that, if not the only character, is like, I want to be transgender. And the movie again just make acknowledgement of it, very accepting, and just like
nobody bashed it.
No, the only person that bashed it was Sarah Jessica Parker's character.
Well, it was just more of like, your movies are stupid and everyone's weird.
I want a 5 hour skinny bar. Even when Bela Lugosi, like at points, he was just like confused, but he just kind of just accepts it and just be like, hey, I'm just in it for the the art of filmmaking. And then of course, like, what they have the Hollywood executives, or at least the executives are like, you know, they clearly were very judgmental. It's like, or the one guy, I think if I remember, this is the guy who's like executive produced like porno. He's like, I don't make movies, I make crap.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you do this again, kill you. I love that scene. Like, some of the cinematography definitely gives off like that 1950s vibe, or at least the old classics. It's just like very weirdly like angled, essentially.
Yeah.
That we don't really get like camera angles like that like nowadays. Not saying they should, unless you want to make it like classic. And the score like is nice too. I especially kept having that song. It's like da 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 da. I get too much into copyright probably. But like, and it's not even just like with the Disaster Artist where it's just only the makings of one film. This one's just like multiple films.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a miracle he still kept making films, despite the fact they're just all like, they're never good. I'm sure like, which there is a fan base for not highly regarded like Tommy Wiseau. You could say like Edward's like a likable Tommy Wiseau.
I like Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau is more fascinating because of how he acts and how he just like has that huge friendship, hardcore bond with Greg.
I don't think Greg signed up for that, but he just kind of got thrown into it, which I think is amazing. But I think Bella had the same thing with Edward.
But he just loves being in films, so he's just like...
Which is Greg.
He does, yeah.
I want to be an actor. And Bella's like, I am an actor, so...
And he just cares so much for Ed Wood too, as much as he does about him. Whereas like Tommy Wiseau, it can come. It's like one. It can be one side, then it can be both sides, then it's one side. You just never know with that dude. But they do like there's like that sense of like optimism in Ed Wood, the movie, that's like something that's very interesting, especially since like the hardships that he's going through, and of course like, you know, being broke up with his girlfriend or fiance because, well, he's wearing her clothing and he's making bad movies and he's kind of like pushing her aside because, I don't know, like other actors don't want to be part of the movie but help him out financially, which turned out to be complete lies. Yep. Yeah, there's only like one person he definitely did dirty. It's definitely his ex-fiance. At the worst.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting how he come across like his next girlfriend or wife or essential, played by Patricia Arquette, which he definitely has a type.
Oh yeah. Fuzzy sweaters and blonde hair.
Short hair too at that. Yeah, something like that. And it was actually like really nice too, and he even like confronts her. Or not confronts her. He just like tells the truth, says to her, it's like, hey, I have a secret to you that I don't say my first dates with girls. I love wearing women's clothing. And she's like, do you not like having sex with women?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh no, I love having sex with women. I just like to wear their clothing. And she's like, okay. I was like, okay, I like that. It's
open.
It's, yeah, and for a movie this fucking old,
yeah,
to be this to dive into this is like very fascinating that like fucking 2000s, 2010s will just make fun of that shit. So that was really it's a very nuanced thing that they done with a very empathetic / humanistic approach to that. I think that part is like, well, I find very fascinating. No, in fact, like this would make sense if this was made like today, but the fact it was made in the 90s is like kind of crazy for that kind of concept. I mean, hell, it's even crazy because, you know, there's an Asian actor in this movie. Tim Burton rarely puts in people of color.
For like 30 seconds.
Yes, but still something. It was for a very funny gag, though, that it's just like, we'll get like a bunch of Bela Lugosi body doubles. We got like two people that size-wise does not look like him at all, and then there's just an Asian guy, and he just looks at him and is like, that's not gonna work. Then the guy's like, oh, wait, hold on, but there's that one time when Bela Lugosi plays like a Fu Manchu. I was like, bro. And he's like, no, this is bad. So that was funny, but I was like, you know what? I don't know, like, hey, there you go. But yeah, I mean, it's a likable enough film. I feel like. I know you didn't find it interesting, and that sucks.
No.
But it could. I guess it could be worse.
It could, 100%. It could be another Marty Supreme.
Exactly. So this is better than Marty Supreme for you, but not nearly as good as
No.
Disaster Artist for you.
No.
Disaster Artist is. I mean, to be fair, even though I do think Ed Wood is, oh God, like barely better than Disaster Artist, I would definitely rewatch Disaster Artist more so because I'm just more I'm more fascinated over like Tommy Wiseau as a character because I just watched so many of his stuff. But with Ed Wood, there's just some stuff that I feel like it's just like very timeless, and it just kind of speaks for me. It's like, you know, it's like, wow, they actually did this, and it came out this year, and they're diving into this, and while also being like the first type of film that is about a horrible director making what essentially one of the worst movies ever made, and there's some form of cultural status to it that feels still different to this day in terms of like, I don't know, like a bunch of other movies that like just, but because usually just be like, we're making this one movie that's considered to be one of the worst movies of all time. Ed Wood, nah, we're making like 5 that's considered one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then I know it went by so like long for you, but I definitely feel like it went by so fast. I feel like
it was long. It was really long.
Hey, the friendship kept you going for like a little bit.
It did, yeah, really did.
That was honestly, that one was genuinely sad. Yeah. And then the first thing he did is just basically like watch the last footage that he shot of Bela Lugosi.
That was sad.
That one, like I almost got I almost got teary-eyed just watching that scene because it's just
I don't go that far, but
I'm not a heartless person, so
yeah.
And the fact that he was like, they're like, doesn't seem disrespectful. He's like, no, that's what he wants, and I'm like, honestly, I generally believe he would. I feel like even if Bela Lugosi is not in much of the movie and gets like a body double, it's almost like his spirit is there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what he wants. He just wants to be well known. He wants to be like well loved and well liked.
Yeah.
That's why with like that scene when he went to the mental institution, which that one was. There's some points I was like, ooh.
That's the start of the Joker.
Ooh, yeah. It was like, ooh. It's a little rough there, buddy. And then the fact that he was getting like a bunch of like reporters like after him, that may and surface level does seem like, oh, like he's gained some attention that he wants, but then Edward's like, no, let's get away, essentially, because he's actually like he actually generally did care for him, despite the fact, yeah, it'll give him attention, but it'll give him bad press.
Yeah.
Even though Bella's like, but I want that. And he's like, but Edward's like, no, I don't want the public to see you in the bad light like this, essentially. Again, just that friendship is like the best part of the movie, and I really genuinely do like that. I mean, like, there's the friendship between Ed Wood and Bela Lugosi, and then there's just a friendship, quote unquote, between Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero.
It's the same.
No, it's not.
It's the same thing.
They don't argue with each other in the Ed Wood.
No. No, they're the same. One's actually a good actor, the other one isn't. One's smart, one isn't.
I mean, Ed Wood's not that good of an actor.
Exactly.
and Disaster Artist, both of them are not even good. But what would you give this movie?
A 3.
A 3?
A 3.
Yeah. It's the worst Tim Burton film?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the worst one.
What about worse than Dumbo? I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, I haven't watched that one because the original one made me cry and I don't want to watch the new one.
But you did watch Planet of the Apes though, the Mark Wahlberg one.
Oh yeah, I did watch that one. No, then it's not.
Not the worst one.
Tied with that one. 'Cause I didn't like. I don't like.
Dang. Okay, I mean I'll take it, but that's crazy.
Like those ones.
Still can't believe that's your introduction to Planet of the Apes. Through was considered the worst film, one of the worst films of that franchise.
I don't like Planet of the Apes.
I think you need to watch a different Planet of the Apes movie. That's like
I've watched the other ones. I watched the new ones. The ones with the.
James Franco
I
or
watched that one and I like it.
oh
Sorry.
damn.
Sorry.
That's fine. Damn. Okay. Even though I do think that the third one from that series is probably the best one with Woody Harrelson as the villain.
I don't like that one either.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't hurt me.
Wow. Wow. No.
I joke.
Wow. But yeah, no. For me personally, with Ed Wood, I think it's probably like probably my favorite Tim Burton film. I do. Don't look at me like that. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I just like these type of. I mean, I just like those type of movies. Just basically just about just a bad director just making films. It almost feels like it's like a tribute to like classic Hollywood.
Wait, you would pick this? Would you pick this over Sweeney Todd?
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. No, okay. I prefer Sweeney Todd over this one.
So it's not the best.
No, it's like my second favorite. I'm sorry, I forgot about Sweeney Todd. No, I think Sweeney Todd is my favorite one, but Ed Wood's like a Corpse's Bride is great, but I still think these movies are better.
I usually.
They're great. It's a great one, but it was like a close second for me, just because I just love the acting. It's very weird and kind of quirky, but it kind of fits with the tone and the look of the film. Why are you tickling my foot? Why are you eyeing my lemon drink? And the friendship just really like is the heart of the film. It's heart and soul. That if it wasn't for the friendship portrayal, I don't think the movie would have been like as great or as well beloved as it is. Considered that it's really highly received, and a lot of people, and it's also like one of Burton's most overlooked films because it's about a guy that made one of the worst movies ever made, but like mainstream audience wise, they don't know this movie, they don't know this guy, so like like at least with Tommy Wiseau, he's a little bit more well known mainstream wise, but it's not quite there yet. But like with Ed Wood, yeah. But with like Ed Wood, it's like if this is only for people who like know about this movie and were born before like Plan 9 from Outer Space, which was like 1950s or something like that.
Don't talk about my year like that.
What?
Don't talk about my birth year like that.
What do you mean? MILF. Anyway,
old lady.
No, you're not. Anyway, I give this one a 10 out of 10.
Get out.
What do you mean?
Get out. I love and respect you, but get out.
It's one. It's. I have to think about it now because I do have this on one of my favorites, but like watching this, I'm like, I think the only thing is maybe it's probably either low favorites or not one of my favorites because I do wish it's a little funnier. Yeah. I feel like.
We've seen Johnny Depp be quirky. It could have been more.
It could have been worse.
Yeah.
With Johnny Depp being quirky. I'm looking at you, Willy Wonka. Or Charlie and Chocolate Factory. I mean, like, I'll probably take it off my favorites list, but I do love this movie. But even though, because I do think with the Disaster Artist, like there's like maybe like few flaws with it, but this one's I have like I just wish there was like more comedy or like funnier. But regardless, pretty engaging, very heartfelt, a lot more optimistic than Disaster Artist. I will say that, and more heartfelt for friendship than Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it for Ed Wood. What you think of this movie? Comment down, let me know. Or what you think of Ed Wood as a person and his films, because I've only seen Glenn or Glenda. I gave that one like a 4 out of 10. There's like some very fascinating stuff gathering that when it was made, and seems like it's like trying to be like as accepting as it can, but has some hugely dated elements to it that can be like maybe be a little dangerous at how you interpret it. But no one's seen the movie, so whatever. No, unless you're like one of those people like look up on Wikipedia of like worst movies of all time, and you just see Glenn and Glenn, you're like, what is that? Because that's on there alongside Planet Not from Outer Space, but Planet Not Outer Space before the Room was considered to be like the greatest bad movie of all time.
That's fair.
But yeah, what you think of it? Comment down, let me know, and yeah, I'll see you in the next review. So take care.